Librarian, and I'm currently in testing mode of my camera and my angles and all that stuff. So I wanted to actually stop and talk a little bit about what this YouTube channel is going to be all about. The Author's Librarian on YouTube. So I've been playing with the idea of a YouTube channel for a really long time. I mean, probably since I discovered YouTube when it came out. And I finally, I think I've gotten to the place where I'm ready to roll. Like, lights, camera, action, let's do this. So the Author's Librarian YouTube channel is going to be where I'm going to regularly post videos of me sharing with you as a librarian for authors resources that you can access online for free for doing your research. So this week in my life, it has been a wonderful week despite coming out of 2020 and we're heading into 2021. I have so many things that I can be grateful for. Number one reason why I didn't want to post videos yet, but my beautiful daughters just told me to go for it, Mom. Don't waste any time. Just get some videos out. Is that my husband and a very good contractor friend of ours has created me a gorgeous studio space. So I'm calling it a studio space. It's really an office. It's outside the home, and it will eliminate things like my dogs barking while I'm doing my podcast, or they can bark but you won't hear it, or on the YouTube channel. But it also is going to give me a creative space to be able to have these conversations with you guys. I also have a podcast. It's been going for 2 years, and I absolutely adore the podcast. It's called The Authors of the Pacific Northwest, and I interview authors from all over the Northwest, plus some that aren't necessarily in the Northwest, about their writing journey, the process of publication. It's an absolutely wonderful podcast. You can find it at the website www.squid. I've hit episode 100 this week, and we celebrated. So if you follow me on social media, you saw a little bit of our celebration. So that was one thing this week that really energized me. I have interviewed more than 100 authors from around the Pacific Northwest, but I've put out 100 episodes. And from doing those interviews and talking with so many authors offline while I'm learning the craft of writing myself, I discovered that many of them struggle with research. Not all authors struggle with research. There are some like me that love it, but there are some that struggle, or they struggle with variations of research, meaning they don't mind doing research, but they don't know where to go to look for great resources. Or they don't mind doing research, but they go down what I call the rabbit hole, right? Where they do so much research, they forget to get on their writing projects. And so that's where the idea of the Author's Librarian came into it, and specifically the Author's Librarian on YouTube. I wanted to create the only YouTube channel that's free to authors, because there's other stuff that might be out there, but you might have to pay for it, where I can pop in and talk with you about writing, mostly about research, give you my tips, and actually show you where you can go to do specific research. I will try to tailor it to genres. I'll also tailor it to things that I've discovered while I'm writing, because yes, I am writing too. I am writing historical fiction, currently in writing book 2, editing book 1 of a series, and I'll talk more about that later. And I've talked about that on my podcast. That's what started the podcast journey, was me writing, and now here I am with you as the Author's Librarian. I have a huge vision for this YouTube channel, as well as I have a vision for meeting all these authors all over the world thanks to technology. One thing that I am also doing currently as we speak, I'm writing my very first nonfiction book, and it's going to be a companion guide that goes with the YouTube channel for those of you that want to buy a book, either an ebook or a print book, and get about 12 awesome resources that can get you started on excellent researching. I'll go in depth in that book also about some of the secrets us librarians know, like me, on how to do research. It's going to be titled Research Like a Librarian. So as soon as that's out, I'll let you all know here first. I will also, this is the bigger picture, we'll see if we get this done in 2021. I'm going to tailor that book into a series of online courses where I'll actually take you through the process as an author and you're going to pick something that you need to do some research, and I'm going to show you how to build yourself a repository of resources and how to use it and how to create great notes, and so that it will save you time in the long run, so when you go to write, you actually have all your research done ahead of time. That's another trick us librarians love to do, is share with people how to do research before you write. Kind of a big deal. If you don't have a problem with researching, that's totally fine. But if you struggle, that book or that online course might be for you. The other thing I'm going to do, I can't wait for us to get out of COVID land world so that we can start traveling a lot more extensively, because I love to travel. And when I do travel, we often will hit a museum and a library or a library. And so on this YouTube channel, I can't talk, on the YouTube channel, the Author's Librarian on YouTube, when we actually get to go traveling and you see me and my husband off and about and I get to go visit a library, I'm going to bring that library to you here. I'm also going to hopefully get to interview some librarians and we can see their special collections, because another huge point of this YouTube channel is because I want you to get comfortable with a local library and meet librarians so you can see how beneficial those resources are for you as an author. You might already love your library and your librarian, but if you don't, or you don't know how to get access to world libraries or things like that, that's something I want to share with you here. Whew, that's a huge vision. I know. I also work full-time in another job, so but this is what energizes me. I get so excited about sharing resources with authors. I love answering questions, and I found that I was answering a lot of questions. So one way to answer a lot of questions all at once is through the channel of the video. So you may be asking, why YouTube? Heck, why not? It's at sometimes the first search engine, sometimes the second search engine rating. So YouTube, how many of us don't go to YouTube to look for information? As we speak right now, this broadcast that I'm creating for you is all done from knowledge that I learned from YouTube and what kind of technology to use. I love YouTube. Okay, so hang with me, subscribe. You can find all this information at 2 websites, which will be listed down below. The first website is theauthorslibrarian.com. Super easy to remember, right? Also, I'm on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as the Author's Librarian. You can also find all my podcasts, almost all of them, at squishpin.com, www.squishpin.com. That's the website that I started before this one, and it also has phenomenal blog posts on there for authors. So this last year in 2020, the authors that came on the podcast, I asked 12 of them to write a blog for the blog, a blog post on that blog, Squishpin blog, to talk about some very specific how-tos as authoring. There's some great stuff there, and it's all free, so jump on squishpin.com, listen to the podcast. Every single author does a reading. I got them from all genres, so it's just a great podcast. And then also, start following me here. We'll have a newsletter sign up, so you can sign up to and follow just the Author's Librarian if that's the only thing you want to do. So I look forward, so forward to talking with you. You can email me either at the Squishpin website or the Author's Librarian website, and specifically let me know what you're struggling with as a research, as an author, because what I would like to do is address some of those aspects too. So I look forward to meeting you.